How's it going, super friends, and welcome to my late to the game review of the Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Robin and Raphael action figure 2-pack from DC Collectibles, available only at Gamestop. Jeez, Brad, what was that? Your best game show host or radio announcer voice? Anyhow, moving on. So we've seen this packaging before, right? It's black, it's got the logo, it's got the names of the characters in the package, only at GameStop, 25 pieces. The top's got another logo for the animated feature. The side looks like a turtle shell, and it has the names of the sculptors, Paul Harding and Jonathan Matthews. The back of the box also has a lineup of all the other figures that you could buy in the series. I've already reviewed Batman and Leonardo previously. This one's all about Damian and Raphael, and oh look, there's a little write-up. You could pause it and read it if you'd like to, but if not, then it's time to open up this bad boy of Damian Wayne and Raphael. I am so stoked. These look so cool. When you pop the top and you pull them out and you see the stuff, that's what it's all about. You got the figures and accessories, so let's review them, you and me. Ooh, look at all these bits. Geronimo! And Raphael has a bunch too. Pop, pop, gently. Oh. So all out, here's what we get. The Damian Robin, the extra head sculpt with the hood on it, the Gotham City sewer lid, the slice of pizza, the bow staff that is not extended, his grapple gun with 2 extra grapples, his bat bomb, 2 sets of hands, and 2 batarangs. And for Raph, we get the figure, the extra head, 2 sets of extra hands, a slice of pizza, and 2 sides. So let's take a closer look at both of these figures and everything they come with, starting with Damian Wayne Robin. Here's a closer look at that sewer lid that Damian comes with, 2 tones of brown, says Gotham City on it. Not really sure why they included it. I mean, I remember seeing the movie, but I can't remember if there was any significance of a sewer lid, why they would include that with him as an accessory, but either way, there it is. Here's that slice of pepperoni and extra cheese pizza that he comes with. Here's the back of it. Not that that's very exciting, but there it is. Here's the bat bomb. This one's definitely painted a lot nicer than the one that came with Batman. Here's the little grapnel gun with the larger extended grapple sticking out the end. And here it is with the one that's not extended yet. We got the 2 open and closed hands. Okay, I really should use a picture for this. Poof! Yep, there they are. That's a picture of them. Next, we got the 2 batarangs that he comes with. They're pretty much exactly like the one that came with Batman, only they're smaller. So he gets 2 of them. No, I don't know why he gets 2. They just decided to give him 2. They don't tell me this stuff. I'm Brad the DC Universe geek, not Brad the DC Universe. I'm privy to all the information and they tell me everything. Here's the bow staff. Oh, wait, it's blurry. Here's the... No, now it's really blurry. And here's that bow staff that he comes with. That's the extended bow staff. And here's the one that's just, you know, not extended. And finally, here's Damian's secondary extra hooded head. This is fantastic. I really like this head sculpt a lot. And that's about it for all of his accessories. And of course, as always, we have the figure. For the paint apps, I would probably give them about a 90% cleanliness and smoothness factor. There really is very little paint slop. Hooray! I hate paint slop. And I think that this figure captures the overall look of Damian Wayne from the animated Batman vs. TMNT series quite well. This Damian figure seems to have the right amount of animated look to it. Like the hair, it's in more solid-y chunks, but it looks very, very animated and flowy. This really captures the look of Damian. I keep saying that, but yeah, sometimes I'm just really impressed by the overall look of a figure. Kind of spindly, kind of thin. You might want to be just a little bit careful when you're posing him so that you don't end up maybe breaking limbs. I can't vouch for the strength of this figure because I haven't put it through the ringer yet. His hood's actually a separate piece. It just fits around his neck and it's not attached at all. And it has to be that way because when you pop off the head that came on the body, you got to take off the hood so that you can put on that secondary head that comes with the hood already on his head. And this is a Damian who looks like he is ready for business. And as previously seen, but now up close with 3 angles, this secondary head sculpt is actually quite fantastic, and if I don't use it on this figure, I'll probably end up using it on a different Damian figure. But for the purpose of the review, let's pop off this head and put the one that came on him back on the shoulders and continue with the review. The factory head sculpt, the paint lines on it are actually pretty darn close to where they're supposed to be, and the paint along his hairline actually looks nice too. Sometimes you get that hairline paint slop where it doesn't go where it's supposed to, and that just looks unsightly. So yeah, Very pleased with the overall look of this figure. Now let's see how well articulated it is. We've already seen that Damian's head's on a ball peg, lots and lots of roundsy, but not a lot of upsy downsy. Bubble, 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 bubble. The torso is on a ball peg, and there's not a huge amount of articulation, but I think it's passable. He's also got articulation in the waist. It rotates back and forth, although honestly, the torso would have been just fine for me, and they wouldn't have had to articulate that. I don't use both points of articulation ever. I only ever use the top one. Armpit hinges. You can see what they do. Up, down, round, and round. Single jointed, 90-degree rotating elbows. Twisty, hingy wrists. Whoopsies. Robin's groin is on a ball peg system. Just going to pull it off and let you have a little peek there. His tunic actually gets in the way of how well you'll be able to articulate and pose this Robin. Robin's spindly little legs also have double jointed knee articulation. No top of the boot rotation, but he does have himself some hinged ankle pivots. They go back and forth, round and round. Very nice. Not bad. And overall, I think that this is a pretty solid figure. Next, let's move on to Raph, who, pictured here with all of his accessories, is no shabby second place loser. Here's Mike's secondary motorbike ride and head sculpt. It's got the helmet with the spike on top and the goggles, as you've seen. Here are both of his size. These are actually really nice. I'm really impressed with how these little babies look with the wrapping around them like that, and you got the pommel here. Yeah, I really like these. Here's that slice of cheesy pepperoni pizza that Raph comes with, and it's also exactly the same as the one that comes with Damian. Don't believe me? Well, here's the one that came with Damian. They have the exact same sculpted detail. Raph's first set of secondary hands is an open set, and I really like these, but the real cleverness comes with the second set of hands. You can see that these have been designed for holding the size, but there's also little tiny holes in the knuckles there, presumably for sticking in his hand like this, or even perhaps just like that. Not a bad allotment of accessories to go with this figure, which we're going to look at right now. Close up, this Raph looks exactly like he should. Fantastic. You got the lines that are going up to show various muscles and wrinkles in the fabric and stuff like that. He's got completely different knee and elbow pads in comparison to Leonardo, and he's definitely very girthy, just like he is in the animated feature. The back of the figure looks just as fantastic too, and you'll notice on his belt he's got these little holes. Those are for stowing his two sides away in. You can't get them in all the way, so don't try to really force them because you might damage them, but by the looks of it, that's exactly what they're for. I would have personally preferred that the sides are stowed along the side or something like that, or that at least they didn't stick out quite as much as this. That just seems kinda strange. Much like Leonardo, and I didn't mention this before, the arms actually look like he's wearing a big jacket. Like, you can't have his wrists down without it looking like he's got sleeves. I'm not really complaining. I understand why they went that direction. I probably would have done things a little bit differently, but this is still a fantastic looking Raphael figure. Absolutely one of my favorites. As for Raph's face sculpt, just like Leo, it looks just like it did in the animated feature, and the paint apps on Raph might be just a little bit neater. There are some places where they kind of messed up a little bit, but overall the paint looks pretty darn good, and I love the look of the red in comparison to the more muted green. And the sculpt looks fantastic. And also, just like Leo, he's got the bandana that's made out of a softer rubber and it's just hanging down over his shoulder. As for Raph's articulation, here's what we're looking at. The head's on a ball peg, and of course that's the way that goes when you have interchangeable heads. There really isn't a super ton of articulation and movement there. I mean, round and round, but just like Leo, it's, you know, very much a dead zone. Like, don't even think about having him look up for any reason whatsoever, because it just ain't happening. Up at the shoulders, about that much, and they've actually got little hinges in this space here. You got the single jointed, rotating elbows. The elbow pad is definitely going to get in the way after you move it so far left or right. You've got rotating wrists that are also on that hinge. Just like with Leo, you've got clearly an articulation point underneath the shell there, but I have yet to decipher exactly how useful it is and what it's really intended for, because it doesn't really add to the overall articulation, at least that I've seen, one bit. If you're curious about Raph's groin, here it is, and here are his balls. Obviously, because they're on ball pegs, they're going to be rotated all the way around. Double jointed knees, of course, you have to have double jointed knees. Oh, these are tight if your character is a ninja. Otherwise, what's the point? Oh, I got them. There they are, double jointed knees. And hopefully, as you can see here on the inside, it's not ball pegs, it's little hinges on the insides of his feet, and they've also got pivots. And that would be the totality of how articulate this action figure is. Not terrible and not great. I've seen better, but I've also seen worse. That was the worst Scottish accent ever. Apologies to everyone who's Scottish and might be watching this. Oh, we're all very satisfied with this turtle, and I can't wait for Michelangelo and Donatello to come out so that I can complete all 4 turtles. Heroes in a half shell, turtle power. Now as for that ever-popular size comparison, look at all these rafts. NECA movie, NECA animated, SH Figuarts animated, NECA original comic series, and that's not all. We've also got 2 different Raphaels based on the Nickelodeon cartoon show, an original 1988 Raphael, hardhead, not the soft, poop, and a Raph based on an early 2000s iteration of the cartoon show. I think I only ever caught 1 or 2 episodes of that. Didn't have cable at the time. I actually didn't even know it existed until after it was off the air. And then, finally, we've got Raphael based on the current cartoon. No, sir. I don't like it. It's not mine, I promise. It belongs to me 6-year-old. He loves it. As for Master Damian, we have him beside 2 Mattel versions, and on the other side a DC Direct, and then the DC Collectibles icons. And for those of you who simple comparisons between Robin's and Raphael's is not enough, there's more. See him compared to characters such as One Punch Man, Lion-O, a well-traveled and battle-worn wasteland wanderer, nightmare-inducing animatronic Freddy, this dude with a yellow balaclava and a shovel, and Superman! Yep, dems be all the comparisons that I want to make today, so hopefully that was enough. And now that we've finished our comparisons, I think we're about ready to have the final word, which is that these guys is fantastic. I feel like both of these guys accurately capture their animated counterparts perfectly. From the scowly looks on their face to the paint apps thereof, I think that they look fantastic. After all the excitement and the unveiling of the DC Collectibles Luchador series, and then having to suffer the heartbreak and dismay of them yanking them away from us just as surprisingly as when they first revealed them, it's so nice to see that they're still in the game. They're still producing specialty action figures. We don't know if the DC Essentials is going to continue, but judging on the fact that they surprised us all with these Batman TMNT 2-packs tells me they still got their foot in the door, and hopefully they ain't planning on taking it out anytime soon. Because as I said, I think these guys are fantastic. I am a lifelong DC fan and a lifelong Turtles fan. If DC Comics was my first love, then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the second. Anyway, that's my review of the Robin Raphael Batman vs. TMNT 2-pack, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sure you're gonna have your own observations as well, whether you own these or you've just watched the video. Feel free to leave them down below. Also, if you liked the video, bop it with a like. And if you want to see more of the stuff that you saw on this channel today show up in your inbox, then you're invited by myself and the rest of the Super Friends to join the DC squad by boffing the subscribe button and biffing the bell. And yes, biff is an actual word this time. I saw it on the 66 Batman TV show. But like I said, with that I'm done, so thank you so much for watching, Super Friends. Have a DC day, everybody, and take care.